Hi, Catherine, can you hear me? Let's do a sound check.
Sorry, hold on.
Hi,
Uh,
can you hear me? Let's do a sound check. Yes, I can see you well.
oh, I thought I heard some feedback, right?
Yeah,
Oh, but that's on your end. Okay, we're good. We can start it in 6:25 if you like. Hello, hi, welcome. Yeah, this is the executive committee. These will under com.
Okay, let's try again. Do you hear the feedback now?
No, did I mute myself? No,
Okay,
no, I don't hear feedback. Um,
that is the delivery guy?
no,
Okay,
no, I'll let you know if he comes or when he comes.
what are we getting? We're getting
It's
people.
the same.
I'll take it.
I'm just trying to make sure. Where did it go? They're not download it.
Catherine, your mic is on,
Mhm.
okay?
You will mute yourself.
Oh, here it is. Okay. No, I'm just trying to get back to board. Hi, Jim.
Hello.
Oh, there you are. And on the projector's just.
Oh.
Uh-huh. I plan to attend the next general meeting in person.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, where will it be, by the way?
I do not know off the top of my head. I gotta check the calendar.
Yeah, it's gonna be at the
Okay.
Harmon Building, on the third floor, the usual room.
Okay.
The Hammer Building.
Yes, on the
Very
third
good.
floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Ebenezer.
Sure.
Oh, sure. No, so that Indiana's coming in person, so she could sit by you.
Okay.
How are you feeling, Jim?
Much better, but not quite ready to drag myself there yet. And how are you feeling?
I'm hanging in there.
Glad to hear that.
Got all I can do.
Yeah, that's all.
Issues.
We're in the same boat, I think.
Huh?
We're in the same boat.
Yeah.
Fine, we'll give folks a few minutes. Oh, let me sign in. Where's the sign? Oh.
Or to have it.
Catherine, just so you're aware,
Mm-hmm.
hearing in my right ear is like almost not there.
I'm sorry to hear that.
You know,
Thank
this is.
Thank you.
These are from like another night.
We're gonna move back. Mary, does that mean you have to use the device?
I'm probably gonna have a heck of a cochlear implant.
Okay.
I mean, the left ear is, you know. The microphone did help at the general meeting.
Okay.
It's gonna bring it tonight, but then, you know, with everybody,
Visible. Okay.
you know, got one central location. Or one person that's gonna speak the whole time, then, you know, the microphone is helpful, but
Okay.
in a meeting like this. I can't hear on person, I can't hear on Zoom, so.
Hello, Anthony.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
Much better. I see you moving around.
I'm just straightening papers.
Uh-huh.
Noble
My own
said-
heart.
Join in person or?
I was trying to do.
No.
Yeah, right.
And Luana's
Too many piles.
This is
and Deanna's on the way.
It's odd.
I think this is Joel.
I have it from my committee.
Hello. Is it the same?
Hi.
Is it?
Those are the same as those.
It is. We've been here a while.
I flew it out.
I Ebenezer is on the other side too, if you want to talk to him. Thank you.
Not the in sync. Get in.
Yeah. Oh, it's the 31st. Okay. 31st. Falls on a Friday. Oh no. Yeah, okay, we gotta do ranking.
Trouble figuring out today, you know, no school,
Oh, yeah.
but. Nothing else seemed to be closed.
Yeah.
It's a very confusing holiday.
Confusing.
Holiday that's not a holiday.
If it's to the 31st, we have the general on Tuesday. I think the deadline's gonna be Wednesday.
The deadline for what?
Ranking. We'll talk.
came?
No.
No?
But the air conditioning.
Oh, he.
Oh, the air conditioning.
Yeah.
He's here. Is this your first CB meeting?
It is, yeah.
Ah, okay. I mean, this isn't the juiciest of meetings, but
Yeah.
but welcome.
Thank you, it's glad to be here.
Yeah. What brought you to the meeting?
Well, I was gonna introduce myself to all of you afterwards. I'm a grad student at NYU and I'm studying journalism.
Okay, nice.
I'm covering this neighborhood and want to just understand it. So this seemed like I'm pretty nice. And there's something specific that I'm working on that I went through afterwards.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mine
We
hand out
should- Depending how many folks come.
People giving away money.
Second.
What about the
yeah, we can
neighborhood are you
wrap up around
covering?
8:30.
Any stories that you are developing or just your
Hi everyone, not sure what happened that we can't see everybody. I know we have Indiana, we have Isidro, Jim, we got Noemi who's here for TNT, so I think we could get started actually. So let me just mark this real quick. Isidro's on Zoom, Indiana's on. Yes. Oh, she's not. Perhaps. Are you on mute? I wanted to ask you something. Or inform you of something. I kind of want to get started, but I think Ebony's just kind of up first. We don't have Alexis. Do we know if she's coming? I think she's right.
She usually texts me. She didn't say anything. She's usually
I saw her last week. All right, because I think we're not gonna have a secretary or a treasurer's report. So maybe I think what we're gonna play with the agenda since Ebony was there. Okay. Now, since I thought that you were he was messing with the AC. Okay, all right, so I think, yeah, let's get started. What we'll do is go over and just lock in November and December calendars. And then we'll go to our DMs report. We'll talk about resolutions before us. I know on the table, and I don't have my phone, so I can't confirm. The Cannabis Task Force agenda, did they have quorum at their meeting? Do you know, Benny, if they have quorum?
No, I am not sure if they have quorum, no.
Okay, because I know it's on the table, so I don't know if we're supposed to vote tonight or,
That's what that was.
but yeah, it's here on the table.
No, I moved it. I wasn't sure if that was.
Oh, yeah, no.
Is this an official call to order? Do we have quorum or no?
No, we don't have one. But that's okay. No, so I'm just playing with the agenda because we don't have Alexis and we don't have Leo. So I think we're skipping those reports. So yeah, so we possibly have a vote. Let's see if we do have quorum tonight.
Where's the resolution?
And then we've got to talk capital and expense budget priorities. So more or less where folks left off on their ranking. I think the big things for tonight is if you have not submitted or like you're still tidying up your list, by when can the office staff get it? Because the deadline's next Friday. So we're gonna have a really tight turnaround. But we will get there. All right, so let's start just with calendars if it works with folks. I know Luana, when she got here, noted, just so November we have, I don't even have in front of me, sorry. But in November, we do have Veterans Day, so that does impact Tuesday meetings. We have Election Day, so I know last month we did it, but I think it's just good to get a check again on it. And I don't know, Ebony, is there anything you want to highlight for November?
Yes, the changes I apply already to the calendar. The meeting that was scheduled for the election day was moved to Wednesday the 12th. And also the Parks meeting that was scheduled for the 11th on Veteran Days was moved for the 13th. I think all the meetings are correct. Just checking that the day after Thanksgiving, the office gonna be closed, as is a tradition here. But then it looks good to me in case any other committee chair wants to make any change.
Okay. I would just note for folks, with, because essentially it's like 1 day a week that the office is closed, so it's important to get things in on time.
What about
And
1 day a week?
no, so like because it's closed on the 4th for Election Day, Veterans Day is
Oh,
closed.
yeah.
Then right after general meeting is Thanksgiving, so just making sure that folks get things in on time, but also for the office Ebenezer, that Friday, right, that all the agendas and stuff are posted on time. And you know, as much as we can reschedule any of the newsletters, that would be helpful. Yes, over here in the back, thank you. Oh, he's the delivery tier, Ebenezer. Okay, so that's November, December calendar. December, oh, we're meeting the 23rd. That's,
Well, I have it on red on the 23rd because it's the day before Christmas Eve. I don't know if you want to reschedule before that.
our issue has been like the last few years, a lot of people do tend to travel that week. So that, I think that's close. I mean, I don't know how people feel about either that Monday or trying to squeeze it before the 18th.
Didn't
Which would
last
be the
year,
16th.
I thought last year we did back to back. Didn't we do executive committee and then
think we
general
did.
board the next day? I'm for that for December.
Yeah,
What's that?
23rd
Say
is
that
too
again?
late.
What?
Say, what,
Exec in general would be back to back for December.
got it.
Yeah, we never
So
have it
15th and 16th.
on right before Christmas. It's usually the week before that.
Yeah, cause I'm like, even that Monday, the 22nd, we lose a good chunk of people who travel. Anybody else on Zoom with thoughts, opinions, preferences? So we're saying December 16th would be the general board meeting, so it'd be the week ahead, and then we would have exec Monday, the 15th.
So the only thought I have, and this would be a concern, I guess, for board staff, is any resolutions would really have to be drafted and tightened up and submitted very expeditiously.
So the one
Friday
that's
the 12th.
affect, I'm sorry, the most will be licensing because we meet practically on the 10th. And by that, we will have to submit it by Friday, which would never happen. At the earliest, I'll be able to submit, I would say on the 14th at the earliest.
So the Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, if there are like not too many licenses like this month, we only have eight. So I was able to submit the resolutions like quite rapidly. But other than that, is if it goes beyond 20, it's a problem.
Could we push the general meeting to the 18th?
Oh, we could push it, yeah. Push it. How do folks feel about Thursday, the 18th? That's true, it doesn't have to be a Tuesday. What? The general meeting
For December.
for December. So it falls the 23rd, but that week, usually after the 20th, we lose a lot of people who travel.
Well, December 15th, I can tell you right now, I'm not gonna be at the exec meeting, I know you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is that night?
Yeah, because we have an event at Ginny Supper Club.
Okay.
Keep it on a Tuesday.
So I'm just saying I can't do, but I mean the 20.
We got 16th, 17th, or 18th.
Eight-
How about, sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry, 18th is good for me.
The Thursday, all right, because we have elections also, I'm thinking Ebenezer, could we do like a page, like just a regular Word document that at the general, we do a quick poll? So we ask people like the 16th, the 17th, or 18th, which one works for them?
Sure, you want to
16
do a poll
or 17?
for next week? Sure, we can do that.
For the general, yeah,
Yes, okay.
and we do a vote like that.
Okay.
Yeah, just because we have a few things, we have elections, we have a vote either in December, November,
For what?
or DM, hopefully November, but just in case, so we definitely need majority.
Yeah, I just say, I just can't get the exec meeting on the 15th,
That's
otherwise the rest of the week's fine.
Okay, so what we'll do is this so that we don't have to redo the exercise next month and cause I know like a lot of the Zooms have to change, the website has to change, the calendar. Is that whatever the poll lands on Ebenezer next week, so 16, 17, or 18, that's the one that we go with. So you guys can just, fix it right away online.
So we're gonna create a poll for the 16, 17, or 18
15th of December,
in December. So the majority will rule. Okay.
yeah, we'll do
Okay.
that,
Okay, we do that.
alright.
Quick question, do we want to wait until the meeting for that, or do you want to do like a Survey Monkey and send it out in advance?
It's the December meeting, so I think it's okay to do it at the general, like, we're getting some fall off when it comes to digital stuff. So
Okay,
since, we'll have the people in there, we can get a good chunk. All right, anything else on calendaring? We're good.
You want to announce about parks or?
No, it's fine, he said it. All right. We're good on calendars, perfect. Ebenezer, I'll turn it over to you for any updates on your end and report backs while I get our website.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. More than happy to report regarding the Audubon Plaza. As you know, last month, the board passed a resolution supporting the Audubon Plaza. We sent it immediately to DOT, giving our support. And in the very next day, I got a phone call from DOT saying to us that they want our help because the New York City DOT wants to install an asphalt mural on the Audubon Plaza. And they want us to help the artist to have a location to have space to storage the paint that she's gonna be using in the mural. So we had a meeting with her, myself, and also with Alianza Dominicana, Eddie Silverio, and myself. And I show her, the only little space that we have is in the closet here that we have our materials. So listen, this is the only little space that I have to offer you. But Eddie Silverio offered a largest space in the basement of the building. So everything was nice and smooth regarding the space that are going to be used. And then we decided to go outside to inspect the street. I noticed that the street is uneven. It has a lot of small potholes, and and the pavement was rough. I asked New York City DOT. We asked, if they're going to repave that portion of the street or the plaza, and they say no.
Ebenezer, I'm sorry, your audio's
The audio
really
is
low
through.
right now. Can you in the room? I don't know if maybe you can test on your end if it's the mic, because with Wayne and other folks, we hear them okay.
Are you able to hear Wayne when Wayne was speaking?
Yeah.
No, I didn't hear Wayne at this time, but while I was
No,
talking.
earlier, no, I'm saying
Early,
it
early,
sounds really
yes.
low on
So
your end.
let me bring the mic closer to myself. Can you hear me better now?
So.
It's so same.
But can you hear me? Sorry.
Oh.
You can hear me well, I think, right?
Yes, I can hear you guys, but you cannot hear me well.
Couldn't help it. It was just.
new owl?
It's
Yeah,
just
they
the
can't hear.
owl seems like the volume is very low.
Yeah.
Even though everything says that it's up all the way, it sounds very low. We don't know why.
Even to
Let me
you.
see if I can
Yeah,
bring the
even me.
volume up.
He's gonna try from the phone app. I don't know
He really came in late.
Oh, like to see if,
if it's
Yeah.
all the way.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
yeah. I'm even struggling here.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even hear.
Microsoft, webcam.
Or Ebenezer, if you could check on the Owl app on your phone, if it's all the way, because here it shows that it's all the way, but.
Okay, hold on one second. Or if you want, I can go there and do the report there. Everybody can hear probably.
Yeah, if you can, please.
Yes, let me go there in person. Hold on.
What?
Yeah, that's true. We on the web can hear Ebenezer just fine. It's just you people in the room.
And we hear you.
So it's.
Do you sound louder, right? To me, I'm like, he sounds
Right,
louder.
but we hear Ebenezer just fine. You're the only ones who can't hear him.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Like a whole or downtown. That sensitive.
And I'm going to raise my hand
Okay.
for when Ebenezer is done.
Animals. Yeah.
Even though the service. Service animals.
Okay, let's take it back. Thank you, Madam
So
Chair.
loud.
I'm here, now it's loud enough.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I was saying that last month, Community Board 12 approved a resolution in supporting the Audubon Plaza. We sent it to New York City DOT immediately, but then a few days later, or the next day that we sent it, we got a phone call from New York City DOT asking our help in the storage the paint for the asphalt mural that they want to install on the plaza. We met with the artist and she wants some space that she can store the paint. I offer her the little closet that we have. And also we had the meeting with Eddie Silverio from Alianza Dominicana, and he offered a bigger space in the basement. So we have a nice meeting. Everything was planned out. The gentleman that assists Alianza in the cleaning, he was aware of what's going to happen. And then we decided to go outside to inspect the location. We noticed that the street there was stratified. They removed the marking, and the surface is very rough and uneven, and also it has a little potholes. Applying my experience from New York City DOT when I was working there, that pedestrian street is not safe for pedestrian. the plaza was not safe. So we sent an email to DOT asking if they're gonna repave that, and they say no, that they're gonna keep it like that, and they are gonna go on. Immediately, I sent an email saying then that we support the plaza, and we passed a resolution that very clearly state that anything that is done there has to be safe and ensure that the artwork and the pavement, and marking and the curb extension and everything need to be visibly and ADA compliant and to avoid any tripping. Immediately, Eddie Silverio spoke with Danny Rodriguez, the Commissioner of New York City DOT, and he ordered the repayment. And to the best of my knowledge, that project is stalled, and we don't know what's going to happen. So it was a waste of time and painting, and the whole thing, in the way it is, the plaza cannot be used by little kids riding bikes, skating, et cetera, scooter, et cetera. So we're waiting for that to be resolved. Yes, Mary.
Hold on, Jim had
What
his
about
hand
the
up
painting?
first.
Because we've been discussing that at the traffic and transportation meeting,
Mhm.
and there's an issue with the painting.
Yes, the painting, we don't have it. They have an order. They stopped the project at this time because they need to repave it. They need to repave the street.
But what are they saying about the painting?
But they have this-
Even once,
Yes, they need to repave the
Right.
roadway and then do the painting.
Right.
I had the designer around here last
we
week. I
have
don't
the
know.
design on
Yeah.
traffic and transportation too.
Yes, it's very colorful, very
Very
beautiful.
much against it.
So let's see what happens. So I am on top of that because I don't wanna allow that they do the painting and they leave the asphalt in the way it is because it's not safe. That plaza is being used by children riding bicycles, a scooter, and people like you walking there. It's not safe. It's
And we-
not safe even for me or any young
Because we had an
people.
event
Yeah,
there
Yes,
last weekend.
yes.
Hold on, Jim Jim, was your hand up on this topic? Around the
Absolutely.
plaza?
I want to make 3 points. Number one, our resolution was written in such a way that if the plaza is not safe, which means hasn't been repaved, we are not in favor of it. We are in favor, as Ebenezer so correctly pointed out, of a plaza that's safe for all of our residents, including citizens and people with, disabilities and so on and so forth. So that's number one. The second half of that means that the plaza must be repaved, or again, we're against it. And if necessary, I'm from the old school. So if we have to sit in the plaza to make sure that, they don't do anything until it's repaved, maybe it's time for a little old-fashioned civil disobedience. And, Adonis will remember his roots. That's the second point. The third point, which Mary stated, but needs to be stated more strongly. The normal methodology they use to design these decorative paintings does not work for disabled people. So we must approve the design, or maybe there's even a city commission. The City Commission on Disabilities has to look at the design as well, because unless the painting, and it can be very beautiful and meet these requirements, is done in a way that doesn't confuse people with vision, disabilities and such, they can't paint it. A flat background is perfectly safe, people, and we've seen several designs where the coloring is more muted, or there are very clear paths that people can follow. So that's the third part. And it's also, basically getting back to my first point, unless this decorative painting is safe for all of our residents, including children and disabled, we are not in favor of it either. So that means that whatever design the artist comes up with will have to be reviewed at the very least by our Traffic and Transportation Committee, and conceivably, since the city has agencies that actually understand these matters better than we might even ask from, input from them, because we want this plaza to be beautifully decorated, including a mural on the floor, which of course makes no sense because mural means wall. It's probably a floral, but that doesn't work right either. But the point is that, it has to be safe. And And the other piece of it is by being insistent as we plan to be, we will start the ball rolling for having, you know, these safe murals everywhere in the city, because that's what they have to be. They can't just be pretty. They have to be, you know, walkable for all of our residents. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. And the email that I sent to DOT, I got some excerpt from our resolution. It stated what the board wants. So I keep in touch, you know, I'm gonna be vigilant for this project to make sure that everything goes down in the way the community board wants. Any other questions regarding this issue?
I just want to recognize that, like, just shout you out, Ebenezer, for it, because I feel like they were very much moving forward and you insisted on the pothole, and it's wild to me. And we could say that the Department of Transportation didn't realize that it was so severe that they couldn't paint on it. You know, and I think that speaks to like the importance of the board and like that local engagement piece. So I feel like, you know, you know, I wanted to recognize that. And then two, that I think that while it's still paused, I think whether it's from the office side and also from the committee, that advocacy on the design, I think, is important. Because whether or not it's pretty, it's cool, but we made really a key point about that crosswalk and making sure it's a design that is inclusive of folks who have like disabilities, share use, visibility. So, you know, I think we can hold them to the fire on that now that the project is paused, so.
Sure. Thank you. Any other questions regarding this item? Okay, you remember last executive committee meeting, I report that we had issues with the air conditioner during the summer. The issue seems to be resolved, and Columbia integrated our AC unit to their monitor system. And they connected cable to connect it to the internet, and everything was working fine until last week. This morning we came and it was hot, and the mechanic is here. Try to resolve as we speak. And also I got a call from the management in Colombia asking us to refrain to call directly the mechanics to fix the air conditioner when it's broken. Now I need to go to the protocol. I told them, you know, the protocol in the website, I can't do it with Colombia because every time I tried, you know, I cannot do it because I don't have the ID. So he sent an email to the management, you know, asking them to give me access to the system. And they replied, we cannot give it to anyone outside Colombia without Colombia ID. So he requested for me a Colombia ID. In the meantime, he gave me a telephone number, tried to get in touch with them when anytime we need service for the air conditioner unit. The mechanic came early today, this afternoon. Nothing happened. I called again before the meeting started. He's here. It looks like I feel like it's a little better
It's
than
working
before.
well.
So, but it happens every Monday when you come back from the weekend, and it happens all the time to the year. When you come Monday, it's off. If he's called outside, it's called in the office. He has outside, he's out in the office. So we need to look out for the Monday morning thing to make sure how
It was hot on Tuesday during my meeting too, so.
Yes, yes. So now finally, you know, the Riverside Viaduct rehabilitation. I think everybody here received an email with a link with a news article telling us that the contractor walk off the job because they have disagreements with the city and they spend more money. According to the news article, it says that the city was asking more than what the plans in advance. So I asked Paola I put it on the agenda for the district service cabinet meeting. I asked Paola who runs the district service cabinet meeting last week because I was out, to discuss this matter. It happens that the representative from DOT and the representative from the construction side of DOT, they refrain to give us any opinion on any saying in this matter because they say it was a legal matter and it was in litigation and they don't want to say anything regarding that. Nevertheless, Paola recommends, you know, I told her to make sure that the location is safe and all the, no matter that they be removed if it's possible. She mentioned that. I'm gonna be looking into that to see what can be done. I also asked Paula to tell Dennis the amount, if the problem was funding, that let us know that this is the time that maybe we can ask funding for the fiscal year 27 and request the city of New York to add more funding for this project. This is the end of my report. Is there any question? No question. Thank you very much.
There was a hand up from Al Taylor's office from his rep. Can you guys see that?
Oh. I was about to ask who that was. I didn't realize that, so I will bring him over to the panel. Thank you.
Okay, this is the end of my report. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you, everybody.
Let me just see if William has a question.
Yeah. Ebenezer, you might have a comment about that point.
Oh.
So that is Al Taylor's just a.
Hello?
How you guys doing today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Ebenezer, thank you for the report. I actually was a part of that meeting last week with Shauna Breer's office. And again, I was actually going to ask if there was going to be a resolution, but my question actually raising up my hand came before you gave the update. So everything is all squared away. It's right on point. But thank you so much for the update and letting us know the DOT is just refused based off of the fact that it's in litigation.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ebenezer.
Um,
One more?
Theoretically, you only have one.
oh my God, yeah.
No, you only have one.
No, you got one more. Exact.
You're talking about me?
Yeah.
He's like the clock.
Better make it a good one too.
Yeah, right. Yes, one more.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I just took through emails, so they were short a member on candidates. We do have our voting on it tonight. Can we see, we have 9 people. I just want to make sure 9, we have 4, I think.
Reach us somebody. Double check.
I'm pretty sure, well, this doesn't say who's accepted.
Okay. In the meantime, I'm just gonna kind of recap on some stuff. Really, for chair report is more of like, what do I owe you? What do I need to do? What asks do you have of me? As hopefully most of you have read last week, I did send out our member newsletter, official call for nominating committee. I did not. Still need signups, right? We need 5 people to sign up for nominating committee. So if you do know of any members on your committee or know folks who would be, especially newer members, if you think they'd be a good fit, encourage them to sign up. I think I helped out by saying it's only like 12 hours, and I hope that's accurate in total, between now and elections in December. So there's that. I'll save the Charter Revision Commission stuff for land use and housing and not steal that thunder. The other thing in terms of an update is I did get in touch with the Shabazz Center on doing a tour. The date, and I know some of us have been, but a lot of us haven't, and really our goal is to like know what's going on, right? Like, how do we make sure that the Shabazz Center continues to serve as a cultural space in the neighborhood, and you know, them as an institution, perhaps what they might need on the cultural side. Let me just double check, because I think I accidentally told them election day. And Tanisha's gonna be out. So basically we're looking at that like first week of November. Let me see here.
This is about what?
Oh, 11/5, the tour, so visiting the Shabazz Center, 11/5, but I might move that to the following week. They're same thing as like the libraries, they close at 6. So it would be kind of like a 1-hour thing for most of us.
Do we know if either Wayne or Isidro are exempt?
Isidro is,
So that's, you have 6 then. I don't know if Wayne is exempt or not.
No.
but Noemi is exempt, Diaz.
But is she
She's proxy for Leo tonight.
oh, okay.
Mhm.
Then yeah, then you have 7.
Okay,
Is she on here?
she's on Zoom.
Good to know.
Yeah, so that's Uptown Tour, and I want to say that's where I want to pause for my report. Wait, so you said you likely move it from the 5th to when? To the following week. So I'm gonna, yeah, so now with Veterans Day, so maybe like that Monday or that Wednesday, the 10th to the 12th. No, the 10th. We don't have meetings on the 10th, so let me ask for November 10th.
That's
That was why I was like, oh, wait.
Monday.
What is this you're saying, talking about?
To visit the Shabazz Center.
I'm not gonna be here. I'm gonna be traveling.
It's not accessible.
I think they were.
No,
They're not?
It is.
there's, when you go up, yeah, this does.
They have an elevator.
You go up to.
No, it's a ramp and then an elevator. It's a flat surface and then the elevator.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That must be new, 'cause it wasn't that way when I was there. I mean, it's a while since I've been there, but.
Well, we just had an event there. You can come in at the lobby level and off to the right-hand side, there's an elevator that will take you upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
So I'll make sure to note that when I send it. I do have a ton of requests, and I know last month I asked folks around just like committee assignments. There's still folks who are looking to switch around. I do have some public members, so I had asked chairs, right? Like if you do need one or two, or if you do or don't want a public member, I think the most I have is land use and traffic for public members, and then there's one for youth and education.
Didn't Steve say he had one for?
Yes, and one for health. And one for health.
Oh, no, you were not youth and education.
But all different people.
Yes, all different people.
Or that one woman, was that one woman that like sent three?
Really?
Really?
At one point,
Oh.
but then she started not showing up and it was a problem.
Sure.
Yeah, so.
I was like, for that you'd be a member. But okay.
Yeah.
All right, any asks, comments, concerns? I know I'm spacing on some stuff. No. Attendance?
Carmen,
Oh, Carmen's, yeah, apparently the letter did not, or the link didn't work. Let me resend those. I sent out like an e-card for Carmen Paulino. And yeah, all right, let me send that. An e-card for Carmen that includes also if folks want to contribute towards a gift card, just towards like, cost of not working and being in law school, so we can
I definitely wanna do that.
help her there. So you can pitch in if you'd like. I did automate it, so let me extend that card to not go out this week. It was supposed to go out at the end of the week.
I think that's a nice thing to do, but if we can't do it for everybody, I don't think we should do it. That's my opinion.
The what?
Huh?
The what?
A card and a gift card and all that.
I feel like people have done, I mean, we've generally,
The board that have been excellent leaders and and we haven't done anything for them.
well, I mean, I think in this case, the gift card component is only, like, people have left, but I don't think because of school. At least while I've been here, it's never been like, oh, I'm leaving the board in the middle because I got accepted into law school or like graduate school.
And this was really last minute for her. It
Yeah.
was a huge thing. She worked so hard this year. I mean, I just feel like.
I mean, I think it's the same, like if people have a baby
But-
or, they're starting a new chapter, I think it's appropriate. It's the same thing, like, I don't think folks have left the board because they're having a child.
Yeah,
Like, I
and
think
being
they
a
usually
student,
got-
being a broke student is hard.
So I hear you on that. I think in the
Yeah.
past, that might have been the case. I think in general, we always do like either a letter, a card when people just leave because they're leaving. And then I think when you have like a life circumstance like this, if we can pitch in, we pitch in. I know Jim
Voluntary.
Yeah, and it's voluntary. Jim?
I tend to agree with Mary that it might be a bad precedent. Just the gift card part. And I understand, the difficulty of being a new student and all, but the second money, which is what gift cards are, is involved, things get slightly more sticky. So I would tend to favor just the, congratulatory card.
Could I?
Yeah.
Perhaps if people want to do it, we don't talk about it in official meetings. It can be done unofficially behind the scenes.
That's what I was
We don't need to
thinking,
talk
like.
about it.
feel like some
Well,
members-
unfortunately, that's problematical as well. If we're going to do it, it's going to be done officially. And, that's how we work. We don't operate with a back room or anything like that. That would
It's
be,
not an official thing and she's not a member of the board.
Right. I mean, the same way like when folks have been in the hospital and,
Yeah.
you know,
well, again, the hospital is a whole other story. And, I've been in the hospital twice. Fortunately, I didn't get anything, but fortunately, I got out twice. So I'm not bothered at all about, I'm back out. So, but again, I think, again, I think it's problematical. Thank you.
all right, well,
I
thank
mean,
you.
I'm thinking of somebody like Joseph Kolinsky, who was on the board for many years. And he chaired different committees and he was, an excellent, excellent leader and did a lot for the board. And, what did we do for him? In years past, we used to give a plaque to people who left the board but had, like several years of service. We had plaques made for them. I'm not saying we should do that,
Mhm,
but it's just,
mhm. I hear you.
recognition is recognition, and I think we should try to improve on that.
I agree. I agree. I think like there's a lot of little things we could do.
I mean, I sent
It-
out, to my people that left that had several years of service, I sent out from the committee, um, recognition and congratulation, email, but,
Mhm.
nothing came from the board.
I mean, in that case, that's what I'm saying, like, it's what we wanna do, right? So it's like, if we wanted to say, like, every May, every June, when people leave, we wanna do this, then it's just a matter, I think, of doing it when people leave mid-tenure, or like, kind of like, even if it's certain practices of like flowers or this or that, like, we just need to maintain that. So, but I don't wanna belabor the point, I think
Yeah.
I've heard across the board. If nobody has any comments, concerns, questions, I think we can kind of keep it moving. Did you have something, Herman?
No, I was just gonna add to that. I'm good.
Okay.
But yeah, it's pretty much what you said.
All right, cool. I think for matter of just timing, there's a reso before us, and I know Nobles is on. So like I shared, cannabis was short one person. So Nobles, you wanna introduce?
Do you want to?
And I think.
No secretary report or anything?
I don't know if we have. All right, let's do the rest since I called them, and then we're playing around with the agenda, but we won't.
Thank you.
There we go. I'm off mute. Thank you very much, Chair. Hello, Executive Committee. We have a potential new cannabis dispensary coming into our neighborhood, which is awesome. That would make 3 out of our CB12 district, which is still pales in comparison to many other districts. But it's good to see a burgeoning industry coming. The folks, I'm actually pulling this up right now, so you'd have to forgive me. So the folks that came in were the 2 owners that are coming in. One of them is a C card holder, and I'll let you know his name in a second.
They're here, by the way.
Sorry, say what?
They're here, if you can't see them on the camera.
Oh, thank you for coming. Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Well, the owners are here. I'll give them the intro, and then maybe if they want to say a few words, is that germane? Chair?
Yeah, that's fine.
Awesome. Thank you.
You don't
so
have
he-
to.
You don't have to either if you don't want to. We can say that for the general. But basically, these 2 came in, and they also had representation on the line as well. So really good turnout from the folks that are going to be running the business. And we had 3 board members in attendance, which was quorum, myself, Carl, and Hector Bonilla. I see you, Hector. And we had an awesome conversation. As you know, our survey questionnaire is designed to really kind of understand what kind of benefits they're not only going to be bringing to the community, but how we as CB12 can help educate through their place, because it is a new industry in our neighborhood, and just trying to help normalize and take away stigma from a really huge industry that New York has every right to be leading. And so we had an awesome conversation about that. And so I don't know, do they have the survey by any chance in front of, or the questionnaire in front of them?
It was
in the packet?
emailed by.
Cool.
No, I mean.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, emailed it this after 3 days ago, before.
Okay, fantastic. So what's pretty interesting is that this is the location is it's 4925 Broadway, which is, I believe, about like 210, 211. It's right between those streets. There's a picture of it with the office and probably in the packet. what's really neat about this spot versus Happy Monkey or Sparkboro that we've seen before is that it's a single unit. It's not in a residential space. It's its own freestanding single unit. It's quite unique in the neighborhood. It was really cool. So you can look it up on Google Maps to see what I'm talking about. Again, it's 4925 Broadway. And so it's in the northern reaches of our district. And so this freestanding unit doesn't have any commercial on top of it, but does have commercial residential around it. And what's been great from the owners that they've already done community outreach. They've had posted for the allotted period of time that there's going to be a dispensary opening up there, and they've also provided a signed lease, which we all know a lot of the landlords in our neighborhood, they're still kind of learning about what this industry is going to entail, and there's a little bit of stigma there that our task force really tries to help bridge the divide for education. So they came with all of their documents correct. And some of the points that you'll see in the resolution here, obviously we definitely ask for them to look to the community to hire folks from our community, especially when it comes to security, because they know the culture. It's a little bit, it's a little bit better not to have someone, I think, from Jersey coming in to being security. So they definitely gave us the committee a really good sense that they would be hiring from the community. They are from our community, from the Bronx and also Washington Heights. So they really understand the kind of market that they're coming into. Another interesting piece about this building is that it's 2 levels. The first level, which is the storefront level, will be for the business. The downstairs level will be for the lounge and also inventory. And so we definitely wanted to make sure that we were clear that the lounge is not to be used for consumer anything, and that is strictly, for business purposes. And the upstairs will be open to consumers as a typical storefront. They certainly gave us their word on that. We felt good about that. You can take a look at the floor plan also in the packet. But the overall sense that they will be a benefit to our community. Oh, they also said that they would open their stores, and we asked this also of Happy Monkey and Sparkboro, to education, programs that we might have as the task force. And so with all of that, it was a great conversation. You can certainly take a look at the recording if you'd like. There was only a few people from the public there. We voted in favor unanimously to advance this resolution for the Happiness Dispensary for the general board meeting. Happy to take questions, and then, you tell me, Chair, because I would like them to hear from the owners as well, since they showed up, and thank you
Give
for that.
me 2 seconds.
Could you
'cause
just say the address again?
Sure thing. It's 4925 Broadway.
Thank you.
No problem.
Who else needs the reso? It doesn't have it.
I don't have that.
You don't have.
Well, I have the reso, I don't have.
I mean, sorry, the.
I have a point of clarification.
Yeah, go for it. While I say.
Hi, Nobles.
Hello.
So I have a point of clarification. You had said that this location is by 211. It is not. It is before 207.
Thank you. I thought it was
It is,
207. Sorry about that. I wasn't looking at Google Maps because I was trying to explain it, but I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Yes, it is in
Yeah,
207.
and the reason why I bring this up is because it is extremely close to two schools, Amistad and Muskota. So I'd be interested in finding out if there was any parent input of sorts. Well, actually 3 schools. IS-52, Muskota, and Amistad, the sister schools.
Familiar with those, because even my girls were looking for them to go there. They are approved by OCM, so they do come into the state requirement of the distance from schools, places of worship, or historical sites. So that has already been taken care of by the state. We also took a look at it. Even though they're close, they're not within the distance that's legally within the standard. But we also have, other dispensaries that are somewhat in the area. It's just a dense city, but I definitely hear that. We did ask them to do some more outreach and output as, further, I guess, getting ready to launch plans come into play. This would be around like mid to late December. And always we have our task force every Monday. So first Monday of the month. So if anyone from the schools would like to come and talk to us, we can do that. But they also did post the signs for the allotted period of time that would be opening up there.
I wasn't aware that also historical sites, because that means that they're across the street from the Dyckman Farmhouse Museum.
Directly across the street?
Yeah.
On the same, wait.
It's down like 3.
No,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
requirements on to do with.
No, it's
They're on the same
2
street, not directly
blocks.
across.
Okay, sorry. I'm looking at,
Yeah,
no,
okay.
207 and then 204. Yeah, like around the corner, it's on the same block.
Yeah, I mean, again, they hit the OCM and state requirement for the
okay.
distance, so you know it's a dense city, but I think it should be fine. The one thing that we did talk about though, there is a bus stop right in front, and this is also in the resolution. And we just said, like we've told every other dispensary, once they do open up their delivery services, like they cannot block that sidewalk. That we hit that, like you can look at the YouTube, we put it in the resolution that from like a bike parking perspective or what have you, they would need to have a solution for that, and it cannot be on the sidewalk. And that would be something that we would certainly ask to speak with them about if we did get reports of that.
Those are my questions and clarifications.
And I just have a question.
Thank you, thank you.
No
Knowles.
problem.
So I'm just looking at this picture here. Is this a space you have to build? Because I can't tell.
No, it's that's what's really
You
unique
just said
about
it
this
has to be
building.
built, yeah.
Oh, you mean like the inside? But the building's already there.
All right, because I see something that looks empty. That's why. I
No,
was
she means
asking.
like inside, yeah.
Yeah, I mean they have to make it into the business,
No,
correct?
just because when I looked in here, it looked like it was empty. That's why I asked if it was gonna, yeah.
Jim has his hand up.
Jim. Ooh, you're on mute, my man.
There we go. 2 points. The store, and it's a tiny little building stuck between two buildings. It's very interesting. There's a good long walk, from, especially the way I'm walking right now, from the museum. And there are two other points I want to make. The state of New York has decided that recreational use of cannabis is legal. People who use it are not criminals. And for all we know, who knows what went on in that farmhouse back in the day.
We know what went on, Jim. That's for
well,
you.
so you know we have to keep that in mind. We don't want to further stigmatize people who, and some of them actually use cannabis, medicinally. So we don't want to stigmatize our neighbors whatsoever, or the people who legally sell to them. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. So yeah, look, Cannabis Task Force every Monday, first Monday, 6:30. Certainly come through. We can talk about anything. We've had a lot of awesome discussion over the last 2.5 years. But we feel really good about this company coming in. Happy to take more questions, or you can hear from the owners themselves.
Y'all want to say anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question.
I can ask directly.
So what kind of community outreach have you been doing, and what are you doing?
Right now, none as of yet. We're still waiting for our final license from the OC, so that's a wrap.
Okay, so you don't have a community outreach plan yet.
What we wrote down in our questionnaire.
Oh, okay.
We spoke to the super, we want to speak to the tenants around the area. I mean, I guess we can offer some sort of discount to those who live in the neighborhood. We definitely want to hire those who are in the area. We live there. We grew up in that and we know the area. So yeah, we just want to help in any way that we can.
Great.
We want to be part of the community.
Great.
Can I ask a follow-up? So that though, we don't treat licenses of this nature any different from liquor licenses, right?
Correct.
Kind of do.
Well, I mean,
So we
it's
don't
a little
have,
bit
like,
different because we don't have official say of opening.
They do.
Oh.
They do have some
And committee.
Well, it said, I was asking because it was in the resolution,
Yeah. Oh.
so I just wanted to, I just wanted to
I
understand.
don't want to set a different standard.
But yes, in broader terms, like what is your nexus to the community? What's your experience with alcohol? Are you planning on hiring from the community? But there's no, in the ABC law, there's no requirement that you develop a written plan to implement
Right.
relative to your community.
Right. And also too, I would like to say again, they did have their good neighbor, like, we are coming to the committee task force. If you'd like to come and speak and meet us, they had that postage up when they post for the 2 weeks leading up to their application review. So there also has been an effort to, get people to know that there's something coming here and give them every opportunity to speak.
Did any community members come to the cannabis task force meeting? Sorry.
Community members, yeah, no worries. Community members do come, but this was the first one this year, and maybe, I don't know, but we did have 2 members of the public there, but they weren't there to speak about this.
Okay.
Jim has his hand up.
Jim.
Jim.
I just want to comment, not that I'm trying to lean on our new dispensary, that one of our dispensaries has a senior citizens discount.
Yes, gummies. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Well, look, I mean, I'm really looking forward to bringing this to the general board meeting. Again, it did get through our committee unanimously. We had a great conversation. Please take a look at the YouTube. But if you do have any other further questions, certainly reach out.
Yeah, I'm over to
Are we
Daryl
having
for
a question? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Hello?
So, let's see. Jim Berlin. Or doesn't. Nobles,
Yes.
I'm just gonna go through the list because I don't know who's all there. Domingos, no.
No,
Luana,
Yes.
Eleazar,
not here.
Wayne,
Yes.
Isidro,
Yes.
Indiana,
Yes.
Steve Simon,
Not here.
Joel,
Not here.
Mary Anderson,
Yes.
Leo's,
Not here.
Uh,
Oh, no, Emmy's voting for Leo.
Oh.
So.
you know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Just a reminder that I'm not technically a member of this committee,
Mhm.
but I'm here anyway, so there.
He's not only the client, he's the president.
Me, yes, Alexis.
Yes.
Tanisha's not here.
No.
Anthony,
Yes.
Catherine,
And I don't vote. There's a conflict.
What is a conflict?
I work out, yeah.
There you go. I gotta say this for the public record, you know?
Yeah, good. It's true.
did I
Of
miss
course,
anything?
you know, I keep it clean, man.
Good. It's good.
All right.
I
Perfect.
did.
Well, thank you guys for stopping by, even though it's exact.
Congratulations.
Thank you. See you at the general.
Yes, and sleep,
Yes.
senior citizens get sleep gummies.
Uh,
I'll make my wish list and at the general
Yes.
board, I'll give it to you.
The general,
holidays
so
are
the general
coming.
meeting's on Tuesday, next Tuesday, and that's when like the formal vote happens. And then we have the public session, so if you do wanna like say anything or introduce yourself, you got 2 minutes to do that. But you don't have to.
But I will have my wish list.
Um,
Now
Oh,
I
sorry.
get to earn my pay as parliamentarian. I'm not sure working out with someone counts as a conflict of interest. You know, if when you work out with him, he gives you free gummies and a partnership in his business, that's another story. But merely working out with someone doesn't count, and we have to be very careful about
He
that.
was
So,
did he
in
mishear
fact,
you?
you
You work for the.
Wait, who?
Did he-
Wait, what are you? who are you talking
I
about?
think he misheard.
I think you misunderstood, Jim. Are you talking about Kathy?
the person who said they work out with him.
Oh,
Or
no,
maybe
I
I
said
Oh,
I
misheard.
no,
work
no,
at
she said
OCM.
OCM.
That's why I
Oh,
said-
that.
I was
oh,
like,
no,
what
no,
is
no.
this deep
Kathy has a
parliamentary
conflict
rule?
as big.
The regulations.
Yeah, Kathy has a conflict
Oh,
as big
wow.
as all outdoors.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. I was like, that's some deep parliamentary stuff, Jim, for a second.
I
I
was
was like,
like, wait,
wow,
where
what is
to
going
go? I
on?
was
Yeah, the brain is still working.
Okay. Oh, now we know.
At least we learned this.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, cool. So that is that matter. We're gonna circle back to Alexis and she's here for secretary, and then we're gonna talk about briefly capital and expense.
Can I see, I just want to see the sheet, because I have a,
What sheet, the attendance?
yeah. 'Cause
Hold on, Daryl's right.
Just want to once again make clear that, unless you have stated that you can't make it and it is an excuse, it will be counted as absent. And I'm gonna ask that all committee chairs, if people are showing up to your meeting online and they do not have an excuse, I would like to see absent/unexcused on the attendance sheet. Because you made it here today, right? God bless you. We were on Zoom earlier. Yeah, From the but show. I'm saying, so no excuse. People need to start showing up in person. I It's just that simple. It's just October, right? It is October, second month, and it's already happening. So just wanted to make that clear.
And you
that
can
in
write-
your- when you submit your attendance reports, just make sure if somebody's, like I said, online, just unexcused/absent, and I won't. And when I do my tallies, it's gonna be considered as an absence. Right? Because that's,
And
please.
just a question, clarifying question. So like the vote today was 10 to 0 to 0 to 1. But does all that 10, do they really count because
I know it's confusing.
it is.
Right, but when you go to the absences.
They will be absent.
But
They-
their vote
But
counts.
they
Yeah.
count as a vote. They just don't count towards quorum.
Quorum.
Right,
I see.
but it will be counted as an absence though,
Right.
when
On
we,
your record.
on the record.
On the record, in case you want, if somebody is chronically absent and they
Yeah.
want to apply to the board next year, you could have voted on all the resolutions, but you were still absent. Does that make sense?
Yes,
So it's like, yeah, so then that person, whenever they get that letter, they're like, why did I get 20 absences? But I voted and I was there and a lot because you didn't tell nobody that you were getting on Zoom.
I have a question.
So yeah.
How does this apply to meetings that are changed, scheduling at the last minute? Because I can use my committee as an example. It was an oversight that the next Parks meeting would have taken place on the 11th, but that is a holiday and the district office is closed. So then we decided that the next best date is that Thursday, but that was a last minute change and people might be absent because people plan for every second Saturday of the month to attend my meeting. So how does that count into like absences?
It's.
We got some bylaws people here.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I was
Yeah, let the parliamentarians speak.
Go for
Number
it.
one, the bylaw, and I'm sure Anthony will agree with me. The bylaws specifically state that if a meeting date is changed from its regular date, you're automatically excused. So you're not, and the other thing, which again, because I'm on Zoom, I may not have heard correctly. If I were a member of the executive committee, I would be present at the executive committee. I would not be absent, even though my hiney is here at home. I am present, but I'm not part of the quorum. So that's one very important point. And again, I may not have heard correctly. So if I were a member, I would be present. That's the second piece of it. And again, I'm speaking from personal experience. You may have someone who is absent, appears to have an unexcused absence, but after the fact, they call you from the hospital telling you that's why they couldn't come. That obviously becomes an excused absence.
Of course, yes.
Just wanted to make, and again, I may not have heard correctly, but I wanted to make those points very clear.
I have a question. I think you just raised a good point.
Hold on, we have
Sorry.
a few hands. So we got Wayne. I have my hand, but I can wait and then.
Yeah, thanks. Jim hit one of the things I was gonna say that, anytime a meeting is not on its regular scheduled date, anyone whose absence is, excused. Not that we don't encourage them to try to make it, but that's an excused absence. And also, CB 12 passed a reso when the open meetings law changed and allowed for these hybrid meetings that address how we were going to treat attendance. So we also need to be mindful to follow the protocols that we established when we did that.
Yes.
Well, that's what I was saying, right?
Yeah.
So if you have your exemption, that
Well,
means you
no,
can
but
be
there's-
online without an issue.
But there's
My point is I'm
No, no,
more
no, no,
than-
no, excuse me.
There's-
That's not,
there's-
excuse me.
I'm
No,
speaking.
let Alexis finish.
Let
her
Alexa
point.
finish.
Every time a woman talks, you guys talk over it. I'm not gonna tolerate it anymore.
But that's
Come
not
on.
the point.
Uh.
Don't me, because I can do that as well.
Yeah,
But
no,
I
let's
was
just finish her point.
speaking, Wayne, come on. My point is, if you have your exemption, that's a whole nother story. We're talking about people that do not have the exemption that consistently show up online only.
Or
And-
late.
And
That
Okay,
is an issue.
allow me again as the parliamentarian.
Hold on,
Please.
Wayne was in the middle of a point, Jim, so I'm gonna ask.
Okay,
Wayne
but
to
then
finish
get
his
back
point,
to me.
And then you go, and then I'll go and we can keep going.
Yeah, so I understand the point that Alexis made regarding people who have the exemption. But also, and you know, I'm not talking about people who are consistently online without notice, but we also have procedures for dealing with folks who do not have an exemption, but for whatever reason have to attend a particular meeting, you know, via Zoom. So I said, my point was we simply need to be mindful that we are carefully and consistently following the procedures that we set up.
Right, and I would like to remind us of those procedures. If, and it may be there's a little bit of confusion about the exemption. The only thing the exemption does is make those people who have this exemption part of the quorum without being there, okay? Other than that, it has no effect. Again, if right now, if I were a member of the committee, I would be in attendance at the committee. But, and I think that this is an important point, and I think it's what Alexis is alluding to. I have an excuse for staying home because I'm not feeling well. You're not excused, and you cannot attend remotely and count as being there unless you have, and that's precisely what Wayne was talking about. All the current excuses for being excused for a meeting are also, according to the resolution we passed, excuses for attending a meeting remotely, but actually being present at the meeting. So I'm not just staying home because I want to stay home. I'm staying home because it's too much for me to come there. And therefore, I have an excuse. If I was staying home because I want to stay home, that, you know, and that I think Alexis' point is in fact very well taken. If you just show up on Zoom without an excuse, you are not present. And in fact, if you just show up on Zoom without an excuse, you cannot vote either because you are not at the meeting. The other side of the coin is if you have an excuse, like someone died in your family, or you have to take care of a child, or you're ill, whatever, then you meeting the excuse criteria, there are 8 of them, you are in fact present at the meeting, you can vote, but you're not part of the physical quorum, which is what the exemption is all about. So, and it is complicated, but I hope that clarified the situation. And that's certainly my understanding of it. And I expect ideally that it's Anthony's understanding as well.
There's a caveat, but I just want everyone, I want to respect turns, so Erwin, and then we'll come back this way and then just wrap up.
So, and I remember this conversation from the bylaws meetings, but I completely forgot what the answer was. So let's say we change the meeting date from the scheduled meeting, let's say first Thursday mornings, and we change it. We first Thursday morning, first Thursday of September, we host our meeting. The very next day, Friday, we decide to change October's meeting. That's a full 29, 30 days of notice. You know, that's more than enough time for one to give either notice or notify someone or make some changes to their schedule so that they can either attend or find or present an excuse. So if there's enough notice, does that rule still stand
Yes,
or not?
it's absolute. If you change the date from its regular day, and again, the problem with
Even if you have more than enough notice.
It'll be 7 months.
Well, again, the issue is you can have all the notice.
That are like the
Well in
second
advance. You're right.
Thursday, so then they have, you know, then the just because.
And then the other point about someone calling from the hospital, I mean, are you also required to then present that doctor's note, which is I think the point.
No.
Or you can just state,
no,
I was in the doctor.
I'm talking about
So
after
basically,
the,
every single meeting, I can just say I don't feel good without presenting anything.
It's technically excused.
Got it.
Yeah.
yeah, allow
I
me
feel
to
like-
just, if you don't mind, someone cannot conjure an excuse. If you're not on the list, you can't, so if, the point is, some people arrange their schedules because they expect a meeting to be on Tuesday. And if it's not on Tuesday, they can't come. So this covers them whether they have enough notice or not. Now, the other thing, my point about the hospital was merely letting people know after the fact. that you have an excuse. You know, the
I was just
second we,
using this as an example of whether we need to present documentation that we weren't for whatever our excuse actually is.
no, we actually
I
treat
know the
one
answer.
another in good faith.
Yeah.
And ideally, it will stay like that.
All right, so I guess this is kind of like food for thought and keeping order. Is what is like the easiest way for us, and this isn't a now answer, but just things as we raise to retain this information? I don't know. I don't think the solution is our bylaws. The solution isn't even on our website because we do have it on our website. So we have to kind of strategize about like, how do we make this stick on our board? I want to say in general, people, for the most part, communicate really well, right? Like either a text or an email of I'm late, I'm not coming. But do we have like a small minority that doesn't do it? Likely. The other thing I think is like, Alexis, if there are consistent individual members that are just hopping on Zoom and aren't there, then I think we can handle that between like Paola and the office, right? So the office can call that person and say, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're noticing you're joining on Zoom for the third time. You don't have an exemption. You haven't given anybody an email. We need to address that. So I think like, I feel like maybe the office having to carry that is better because they see all the sign-in sheets.
Well,
Right.
that's
To
what-
your point of like, they need to write Zoom.
Which is why I asked that, and then when I get those documents from the office, then that's when I pour through them and I see what happens, right? Like I can see, you know, if it's, so somebody's on Zoom, but they don't have the exemption, I see all that. But what I also see is people who, I'm just saying that what I see is that there are some people who consistently show up on Zoom only, particularly for the general meeting, when they are supposed to be in person, and it's a problem. So I'm just saying that according to our bylaws, correct, people are supposed to show up in person. Now, if you don't have your exemption, or if there isn't a legitimate excuse, like last month, I was on bed rest. I showed my doctor's notes. I still came to the meeting via Zoom. I had to leave halfway through because I realized I really should listen to my doctor. But so yeah, so I understand that. I'm just talking about people that just are showing up on Zoom when they should be here in person because there is no excuse. They have no excuse. They have not provided an excuse before or after. That
Okay.
is all I'm saying.
Okay, it's 7:46, so I just wanna say what we gotta say at this table that can help us
Just
resolve
quickly.
this, or, you know.
I think that,
Hold on, hold on.
go ahead. Sorry, I had my hand up too, but go ahead.
And then Indiana has spoken.
Just like a thought and a suggestion. One, folks have exemptions, right? So they can be on Zoom, and
Right.
usually that's marked on here.
It's not.
Right. It hasn't been.
It's
lately.
not, well, it's not on this. I don't know
Yeah.
about other ones.
No, but I can,
It's not-
I'll send that email right now.
So
exemptions,
like,
no.
maybe, you know, incorporating that somehow, that would be a lot easier for those that need to take attendance and stuff. And then the other one, I would say maybe also at the top, if it's a meeting that is not on the regularly scheduled date,
Yeah.
just notating that somewhere. Because like the last full board meeting, I wasn't at,
Right.
but
No,
it
a lot of
was
people
it was
weren't.
an odd date. I didn't have to be.
Yeah, there was a lot of people that weren't, so that's fine.
I
To
just,
note that somewhere
Yes.
on the
Yeah.
attendance sheet would be great.
I think that I always go to whoever shows interest in joining the board, these messages need to be conveyed very clearly of what the commitment is. Because I think that I'm with Alexis is that we don't want to fall into a cycle of abusing of privileges where, oh, it's a hybrid meeting, so that therefore I can always choose to attend online. And it's not fair to the rest of us that show up in person for the most part. So, that's all I gotta say.
Thanks, Art.
Okay. It seems like it's been an issue for a little, because when I joined, it was a conversation that was already in progress or in process or whatever, something that was being discussed. So like, how about just like, hey, you know, you last month or the last 2 or 3 months, you've been on Zoom, this doesn't count as you attending. This is your first unexcused absence. You have, I think, 2 left. I think the rule is 3. Forgot exactly what the rule is off the top of my head. after which this is gonna be the consequence, we're gonna apply this strictly. And then that, have a nice day, and then I guess people, you should start applying it. And I don't know if that's.
Well,
Allow me
sorry.
to make 2
Hold
points.
on, Diana has something, had her hand up.
I just want to clarify because I thought I understood and then now I have a question. You can, if you do not have an exemption
Yes.
and you are participating via Zoom and you're a committee member, does your vote count towards quorum?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, does your vote
Or sorry,
count
does your vote
towards?
count? Yes. but
Yes.
You don't count towards.
Wait,
quorum.
wait. Let us listen to the parliamentarian. If you are participating on Zoom, now let's go back again. The only thing the exemption does is it makes you part of the physical quorum. It has no other effect. It's not,
Yeah.
it's an exemption from having your butt
Right.
actually there. Okay, that's number one. If you appear on Zoom and you don't have an excuse, you are not at the meeting, you don't get to vote. And that's part, and that it must be enforced at the general meeting also. If someone
Yes.
tries to participate and they
Okay.
haven't given us an excuse for their absence, and we have the list of 8 excuses, they are not excused, they are not present, and we might as a courtesy let them talk because that's another thing, but they absolutely do not get to vote. Now, the second piece of it is the resolution that we talked about that enabled the hybrid meetings. That has the rules of hybrid meetings, and it should be prominently posted on the website along with the bylaws because it controls all the things I've been talking about. They're all written down in this resolution. Okay? And again, let me just reiterate. If you just show up at a general meeting without an excuse, you are absent and you certainly, at the very least, do not get to vote. We might, like I said, as a courtesy, allow you to speak, but you certainly do not get to vote. And that's the way we enforce this. And we
So,
do it
Jim,
starting at, allow me to finish, and we
Um,
start doing this at the very next meeting so people understand the rules. Because those are the rules.
Jim, I'm gonna have to go back because from when open meeting law changed and at Borough Board, the biggest consistent part has been that people can vote. And that's what we
No.
have.
They're absent, they can't
Hold on,
vote.
but let me finish.
Yeah,
That-
okay.
It's not that they're absent, it's that folks have to have a reason to be on Zoom, right? And so you have to state the reason at the beginning of the meeting, or you put that in the minutes as to, I'm there because of childcare or whatever the reason is. But from the beginning, we've always allowed folks to vote while on Zoom, and we use the absent as a mechanism for accountability, not because I don't see you on the Zoom. Because actually a lot of boards handle that different. We've done the line and other boards as well of marking you absent so that folks can start to communicate early and often when they're gonna hop on Zoom. So
Yeah,
I'd rather
we're-
go back and not make it, because all of our materials don't say that about your vote's not valid. It's quite the opposite. So I'd rather just
Excuse
go
me.
back
We're
into
actually
my
saying
emails.
exactly the same thing. If you provide an excuse, then you get to vote. If you don't provide an excuse, then you're technically not at the meeting and you don't get to vote.
I'm just
We're
gonna
saying-
go back because that's not what I had, is what I'm saying.
Well,
Like,
go look at
I
what we
feel like
wrote.
some-
I don't feel like coming is that in the.
No, that's not a valid.
Right.
That's not a valid.
It's drizzling. I don't wanna get wet. I don't.
Well, I mean, whatever reason, part of it too is that we have to take what is face value. So like, if you tell me I'm sick, you're sick, period.
Oh, that's true.
Or you're working. So like, whatever it is, people let it, I had an unexpected circumstance. That's the language, that's what they said, that's what that is. It's not on us to like investigate that, and I think that's really important. But it's 7:53, we keep pushing this more than I think we needed to. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Alexis. I'm gonna send this to Ebenezer and Paula in a little bit. And
Oh, you're right. Yeah, we're maybe out of call. Or so figuring out, but like, are they on Zoom? Yes or no? Do they count towards quorum? Yes or no?
We need
A
some
better
kind of
one.
matrix
Uh-huh.
that's visible online that shows people like the diagram, whether you count or don't count, or you quorum or not quorum, like a graph. not like words, because we have a lot of words, but no one reads.
Even if you just do like this and add an extra, like, line.
Oh, I get what you mean. Sorry, my brain was like looking at the attendance and not thinking like a visual to
I was
explain.
thinking on here,
Oh.
so I think
Yeah.
we have related things, but like, you can do like one column, are they on Zoom, yes or not? One column, do they count for
Quorum.
quorum?
Okay, add a quorum column, okay. Okay. All right, we're gonna go.
Excuse me, but no, that's not adequate. The point is, again, if they're on Zoom and they have an excuse, then they are present at the meeting and can vote. If they're on Zoom and they don't have an excuse, they cannot provide us with one of our official excuses. They are technically not at the meeting and they are not present and they don't get to vote. That's what, and if you go back and look what the resolution says, and we can have lots of eyes looking at what we wrote, that is exactly what it says. So again, there are sort of three criteria, you know?
Okay.
And it's very important because essentially, if you have an excuse, like you're bleeding again, then you get to stay home because you're sick. If you have an excuse, as someone pointed, it's raining, I'm not in the mood, that's not an excuse. You're not technically present at the meeting and you don't get to vote. Now, if we
Well-
want, we can optionally let them speak. Maybe we don't even let them do that. We might even say, you want to talk, then bring your body here or actually have an excuse. That's that, but we can be nice about it or not. But again, so let's.
Jim, we're over, so I really have to move to the next agenda item.
Thank you.
All right, so for expense budgets, I just want to talk dates real quick. And folks can let us know where you currently are. Ebenezer has to submit it to DCP on the 31st, which is next Friday. On Tuesday, the 28th, we have the general board meeting and the hearing. So by that, ideally Friday, this Friday, the office has a complete list so that it can be sent around both digitally and paper version on all the projects. Any, if there are any tweaks, we make the tweaks that we need to, resend those. But essentially, we really only have a day and a half for submissions.
So that means that we have to submit our rankings by what date do we have to
Ideally,
submit our
like if the
rankings?
office can send it out by Friday and you do the digital or you do the paper style.
This Friday?
Yes, this Friday.
Oh, wow.
So if they do it this Friday, then everybody can just start as of Friday and get them in when they want. If there are folks who are gonna wait till the general meeting, then you only have a day and a half. The other piece to this, that is something that our board has never really done, but we always say, right, like, this is an ongoing thing. In the spring, in 2026, we should be submitting ahead of the city council vote an actual reso that is a narrative version of those rankings. So if the committee feels, hey, these are our budget priorities are still the same, then creating that in narrative form and we send that up. That's something that this year, like, I really observed and took into account the fact that all the boards do it. And I was like, this is news to me. Manhattan boards, I don't know about city boards, but Manhattan boards do it. I was asked about it. I'm like, look, we didn't do that and the time passed, so. But something to be aware of, that in the spring, it is something that we should do.
Well, keep in mind, all of the council members do get a complete register of all of the community board budget requests. Together with the preliminary budget issued by the mayor at the end of January. So, I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt to reinforce it, but they should already be taking a look at our budget requests. If they haven't already done so in October, when we're voting on them, they're gonna get a formal package at the end of January.
Yeah, for me, I understood it, but I'm like, I feel like this is the deadline that matters, because this is what goes in the portal and the reso could be in somebody's jar, but Daryl and then it's.
Do we have a notation somewhere of how many people voted?
We can make that public. It's usually very few. Even when we've had like.
I feel like some were missed last year.
If they were missed, depending on the deadline, but I would say less than half the board votes. Which is a shame because we put so much time into it, but less than half the board votes.
Well, we really.
Right.
We lost the video on the owl.
Oh.
Can you just give the dates again, please? The rankings go to Ebenezer by when?
The rankings have to go to Ebenezer.
Now we lost the audio on the owl as
Yeah,
well.
video and audio.
Committee chairs, there we go, we're back. Committee
Yeah.
chairs have to submit by Friday, if you have not.
For the committees.
Yes, so what your committees, capital and program. You submit that by Friday. And that's being generous because on Friday is when it should go out. So let's say Thursday. And Friday it can go out. Tuesday, we have the hearing, we talk about it. Is there a tweak? Maybe, maybe not. Usually the tweaks that the small edits that we have are minor and consolidating. But as long as the majority can get those votes in, I think that's what counts. And then, Thursday is gonna be the deadline for all submissions by board members because Friday it is due in the portal.
Okay, but let's talk dates, right? The 24th and then subsequently the 30th, right? Okay, so the 24th committees and the 30th, all of the rankings.
Okay. Let's go here.
I have a question about when this register is produced by the agencies. Because I assume that at some point prior to city council voting, the members are able to see
Yeah.
what the agencies.
Yes.
Feelings, their response
Yeah.
to the boards are.
Yeah, that's included in the register that's issued with the preliminary budget at the end of January.
So they have from November till the end of January to produce this,
To
the agencies?
The OMB produces it, hold it a second, no, I'm sorry. Well, OMB issues the packet, the register, but it's based on responses which they receive from the agencies between which they collect by the end of December.
Okay. Wow.
And so, yeah, so so basically the community board, I receive them at the Parks Department. So I am then given, let's say, most of November and up until the end of December to respond to the community board budget request. And then OMB puts it all together and then issues it in a booklet at the end of January with the preliminary budget. And so that includes both the community board requests and the agency responses.
Hold on, there's a big change.
Well, and by the end of January, it's accessible to the boards to see what
Yes,
the agencies responded with?
Absolutely, yeah, sure. I believe at the same time that it goes public, it's sent by OMB to the community boards. Now, let me ask you, when we're gonna send this out to the board members on Friday, the 24th, are we gonna also at that point post it on our website so the public can see it?
Yeah, I can try. If not, what we've done last time was just walk people through it. So like we'll go through like some of the big priorities from each one.
Well,
But
no,
I just had
my very strong suggestion is that we
poster.
make it public to the maximum extent possible and post it on our website so that people who may be speaking at our hearing already know what some of these budget requests are, and which ones they might want to speak in favor of.
Oh no, I just saw something when I searched because I was trying to find the timeline for OMB. I don't know why nobody. Did you guys get one?
I haven't seen that.
What is it? So I'm surprised. I don't know if you know, Steve. So they're not, so before, right, it would be 1 through 25, right? So like parks would compete against housing or any other agency for like that top spot. That's not the case anymore. They're doing it by agency. So for example, capital requests under parks is its own list.
Really?
And yeah, and I'm surprised I'm just finding that out and you didn't see that assembly. And then like, I don't know, DOB is another list. So they're not ranked in competition, it's ranked by agency. So if I have 20 for parks, I have 20 for parks. If I have 20 for here, I have 20 for here. So it's really more of a list.
How is that beneficial from a budget perspective? Also, I'm sorry, Wayne has his hand.
What would be, I guess, top spot? Sorry, go for it, Wayne. I'm trying to see this and see if, let me do a screenshot.
I just wanted to follow up on Steve's point, because in years past, or maybe decades past, we had much greater public participation and commenting when we had the hearing for the expense and budget priorities. So if we are going to post it to the website, I wouldn't depend upon the fact that people are going to search it out. I would send out, an e-blast to the public to let them know it's there with a link in the email so they can go directly to whatever we've posted.
Yeah, I accept that as a friendly amendment.
That's fine, we'll do that. Let me just, hold on, can I see this real quick so I can, all right, so let me just read it. Instead, you cannot prioritize requests within each agency list. For example, DSNY capital requests can be ranked 1 through the number of DSNY requests you submit. This helps boards avoid needing to determine priorities across unrelated issues like comparing parks to sanitation. This update does not impact the number of requests you submit to any given agency, which is still left to the board's discretion. This update applies to all 3 budget requests, capital expense and continued support. Attached is an optional template. Okay, here's what we're gonna do.
So then the board members do not have to do the rankings.
That's exactly what I think it is. It's the committee chairs.
Well, I mean, I get that that's
And
now,
we just-
but that doesn't make
That's one
sense, because
person.
council still has to
Yeah,
decide. how
I know, but
many- Yes.
they've changed what's been the process for, God knows how many years.
Let me tell you, we would like to thank the district managers and community board reps who helped advocate for this change over the last 2 years. And we're hopeful that this update will save time and reduce complexity in the
My God,
process.
Yeah,
So
we don't have to do
we don't do ranking.
a vote by the full board.
Just might have
You
just made my day.
might wanna just do a.
I
vote.
think we do a full vote because it's like, this is a comprehensive
okay.
list.
Yeah, just to accept all of the committee recommendations.
I think it makes
Yeah.
it easier to add through public hearings.
Yeah.
So, cause like, I think the struggle was always like somebody would add, and then it's like, oh, like right now, like we're gonna vote and rank.
Okay, but it should be then at the option of each
Sure.
committee
Hold on.
as to whether or not to accept, any of those additions.
Jim has his hand up and then I.
Go ahead for Jim. Let me email this to whole exec and I'm gonna see.
That's really startling. That's a huge change.
Yes.
Well, there are community boards that have had an entirely different procedure for the longest time. They've had a committee that decides on the rankings. And it's not done by the individual committees. It's done by this committee, which is probably a
Well-
committee of all of the board, the committee chairs. So
Well-
allow me to finish. So several boards have already been doing this. Now, the other side of the coin is whatever this ends up being, it has to be approved by a vote of the board.
Yeah.
So that's the other piece of it.
Yeah,
Because
the-
nothing happens unless the board votes on it.
Yeah.
So again, the issue of whether committees vote on it, which again gets very confusing and it makes us all pull our hairs out. That's another story because again, for example, I'm in communication with a former student of mine on Community Board 6 that has been doing it this other way for years. And I believe there are other Manhattan community boards that do the same thing and possibly in other boroughs. But again, ultimately, whatever this list is, it has to be approved by the board by a vote. Thank you.
But all of the boards, Jim, in the past have done one overall consolidated list. But regardless of how they get to it, whether all of the board members vote on it or it's done by a committee, it's all of the, there's one overall list that includes all of the different committee rankings. And in this case, apparently what we're being told is that you don't have to do one over combined list. You can just submit separate lists for each of the agencies.
Again, it's my understanding, and we can go look at the city charter or send Anthony to go do that or whatever. The board has to vote on whatever it is. So if there are separate lists,
Yes.
the board would have to approve it as a board anyway.
Yes.
Committees
Yes, I
cannot
agree.
function unilaterally. That
I
is
agree.
clear.
What the board is gonna end up doing though, is voting on, maybe 12 separate lists, confirming that they should be forwarded to OMB.
Or they can be combined into this whole combined thing and the board will vote for all of them,
So,
right?
Yeah.
But there will not be one overall list that runs 1 to 65. There are gonna be separate, apparently, separate lists, each, is it for each agency?
let me just share the spreadsheet on screen, yeah.
Well, and if it's for each agency, then we're talking about, more than 12 different lists.
It can be, I mean, and we've been cutting down, y'all, so don't make it 75. But, theoretically now there's not a limit, but obviously we know money is limited. Hold on, let me just share this. Anybody else needs to say anything?
I have a comment. I guess I'm trying to think how this doesn't take away some power or influence from the board in the macro budget. Because the point sounds like is we previously for decades have submitted that list of 1 through 20, which essentially told city council that community board X believes that more money should be placed in this agency for this issue over this agency for this issue. And I understand that it may be burdensome for competing,
But it is
different issues, but that's how city council is ultimately having to decide the budget. And now it just feels like we don't have as much of a voice in that process.
Yep.
And so I actually don't agree with this. From how I understand it being explained.
I'm gonna share it. I think then, I wonder, and I'm not, because this change happened after, why that reso, even if it could be now in the fall, right? It doesn't have to be in the spring, of here are our top 5 priorities, right? Like, so for us, housing is always number 1. I think like we submit the rankings and we can still do a reso of like, even though we don't quite have a ranking, but I think maybe we can think about like from each committee's point, like what's the number 1 priority, and then we do a reso, like, I don't know, we gotta figure it out, but you know what I'm saying? Like we could have a reso.
Yeah.
So
I had a question. Who writes the statement of needs and when?
that is Ebenezer.
Okay.
And it is no longer really like a true statement. I think in the past, and folks who've been here longer can chime in. I think it used to be an actual statement, like a narrative statement. Yeah, it used to be a report. Now what they've done the last few years is that the ranking is a report. So when they started the new portal on DCP's website, like you'll see like bar graphs, that's essentially your district needs. So no longer do we actually have room, which is unfortunate, right? To your point of like the power piece, no longer is there room to say, hey, these are the nuances of our housing crisis in the Heights. Now it's just like, oh, we want affordable housing. That's that. I'm sorry, I'm struggling because Excel won't open. So let me just open it from my email.
So
Big problem. It was a pain in the ass, but I mean,
Yeah.
it mattered.
It does.
while you're looking for that, Kathy, may I ask a question?
Mhm.
Kind of like familiarizing myself. I know that we get this report that says like, oh, we already do this, or we can't do this. But do we ever get something more concrete that says like, we spent $100,000 on this initiative, or we built 2 of whatever you asked for, as one of your other priorities, like, because in our committee meeting, the discussion that we had is that like that report is basically useless to us. Like it says, oh, we allocated $10 million over the next 3 fiscal years citywide. Like, okay, so did we get something or we didn't get something? And so I just say that because like one of the conversations that we had just like literally every 5 minutes at our meeting was, we need more details. And would it be beneficial when we set our priorities to be more specific? That way they can't just give us some sort of vague answer to be like, we want 30 of these in our district. So I just throwing that out there because like that report to me was like not helpful at all.
Yeah, my phone's dead, but not surprised, but I have, from other CB chairs, a lot of that feedback, be as precise as possible, and there was some of that language of like, we need 100, let's say 100 units of housing, or like a percentage of senior housing. So they got very precise. I'll see if I can circulate that. But yeah, so here you see our under capital, all the agencies. Oh, I guess you can technically still rank them. But it would be the committee ranking in this case.
But it would be broken down by agency?
That's how it's.
That's super challenging. Yeah.
But then
it would
there's
be-
also like conflicts of interest there, like if you work for any of these agencies, you can't rank them at all.
Well, it's,
Yeah,
for
you
our
should not.
board, it's the committee voting on it, so if you work, like he works for Parks, he can't sit on Parks to begin with.
Right, but if I'm being asked now to vote, I don't vote
Oh,
on the
I see.
overall.
We've never voted.
I am, what's the word now? I do the not vote
Losers stuff.
on the budget stuff every year because it includes Parks Department items. So I'm not gonna be able to vote on the combined or the overall resolution saying that we approve of all of these items. If it's all being wrapped into one bundle, I can't vote on that.
Abstain.
Yeah, well,
Explanation.
How many committees do we have again? 10? Do we just create 10 lists?
no, it's gonna be more than that. It's
That's my
because,
question.
because I'm
All the
looking,
agencies.
because I'm looking at my capital budget list. And in just 5 items on the capital budget list of my committee, I'm dealing with the fire department, sanitation, DEP, so at least 3 different agencies with would have to, this would have to be split up among.
Let me ask.
We all combine to, for example, every committee's reso that has to do with fire department, we all add it to a single. Rather than voting on like 10 different spreadsheets, we just vote on the one cumulative, like everybody said.
Oh, yeah, we're gonna do that. There'll be one vote that covers however many different lists we have that says that we authorize OMB to send it all in. Unless you want to do it differently.
No, I agree on that. I was just gonna say, I think while we can prioritize by agency, I think that I would consider this column, sorry, we're like now doing stuff in real time, so on timing, but I think the priority column is dictated by the committee, how the committee ranked it and not individual rankings.
Cause that's my question, is that, say in Parks and Cultural Fairs, we have 20 things. And the DCLA one is number 20, ranked 20 out of everything, and the other 19 are all parks.
Yeah.
So does that mean the DCLA one, Cultural Fairs, is ranked number 1?
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
Even though we ranked it as a committee,
Yeah,
number
yeah,
20.
Yeah, but that's your,
And the thing that was ranked above it is number 19 in Parks.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It would be number 1 because it's the number 1 request we have for DCLA. For example, for parks, then whatever is 1 through 18 would be parks. So it does change a little bit.
Yeah.
But I think I would say based on what you have, go by what's ranked the highest to lowest. And so for one agency, so like if bathrooms at a certain park is still number 1, like that shouldn't change with an item that's number 5 for parks. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this the other day, like safety, like lighting and stuff. Lighting is
Yeah.
generally, that's another agency, right?
But that would be the number 1 priority for that agency and maybe the only one we have.
But then how does it rank if we pull something out for that? How does it rank for who lighting would be under what agency?
DOT.
DOT. What about the traffic and transportation committee? How does it blend in with their?
You're gonna have to refer to that committee and let that committee decide, I guess.
But at this point, we're doing this in a week.
Yeah.
So Anthony and then here, and then I think we got it.
I think, I believe the answer is no. But I wonder if we do end up doing a cumulative list, if there is a way that votes could be segregated, meaning if he wanted to vote yes on everything other than parks, that there's a way to record that somewhere to suggest that he votes yes on all of the rankings other than the Parks Department rankings. We have like 10 or more members who work for city agencies. So, I mean, the cumulative would have to be thrown out the window if we can't do that.
I'll email the law department in the morning, and see what we get. Cause I.
Well,
feel-
the decision I think has to be made here as to whether or not we're gonna have one overall resolution covering all of the agencies, or whether you're gonna vote separately on each one of the lists.
But it depends.
Well, that's what I wanna ask because remember in the spring, all the boards, at least in Manhattan, apparently vote on one cumulative priority for funding, affordable housing, this, that, by agency. So I wanna know, there's a precedent, there's a practice already, so I'm curious how people recuse themselves.
No, nobody's ever done this.
No, this version, not the spreadsheet, but they do a reso of the priority for funding.
I don't know, I've never seen it.
Hi, I have my hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, go for it.
No, just a quick question. I mean, let's say we have for any general meeting, 25 resolutions. And then if we were to treat it this way, we could say ultimately CB12 is submitting a consolidated list. But if we treated each agency as a separate resolution, that would allow Steve to say yes to all except for parks, on which I'm not voting due to conflict. Or anyone who votes for a city agency could say yes to all except for X, on which I have a conflict. But what the office ultimately submits is the consolidated list of all of the resolutions, so to speak, that were voted on.
So we're doing it for the record because we don't submit votes.
I understand, but I mean, we're going back and forth with, who
Yeah,
can-
no, I agree with you.
Can't we just simplify that and say, if we were treating this as rezos, individual, they would be able to vote on everything except for the one where they have a conflict. But what the office will do is just take everything that's voted on, put it in a spreadsheet, and that consolidated list is what gets submitted.
Okay,
Well,
yeah. Okay, the one thing I'll say folks don't see that's probably good about the change is there's a request section and an explanation section. So we can include a justification and we can add addresses. So to your point about lighting or toilets or whatever, we can put the address and sites needed. So I think that does help with that precision piece. All right, so let me think this.
So
I
we're
got the
not
lot of-
ranking now anymore.
Yeah, you finish what you started because we need to know in what order is parks getting projects.
Got it. Only for our respective committees, not for the other committees yet.
Yes, yeah, but worry about you. Sorry, so everyone worry about themselves.
And for the big one,
Ebenezer.
can we not just stick with the old way this one more
No,
year?
no.
Oh, I'm gonna say no.
So this is what I'm thinking. How many of y'all can get that done? Who? Can everybody submit it by Thursday or no?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
We gave everybody by Tuesday, but we had glitches, so they'll be delighted. Parks, yes.
Okay.
Because they're getting it extended as of tonight, an extension as of
Okay,
tonight.
Friday I'm back. So Thursday, it'll be submitted. Ebenezer, and I'll check on them to make sure that and let me try to zoom in a little bit, but here is ACS, right? So ACS would be 1, 2, and 3, plus whatever explanations they have. He'll do his best there, and then at the general, we have the public hearing at 6 p.m. I think if there are items that were on yours that ended up on traffic and people feel it should be higher, then we do the switch there.
Which to the agencies, but then how do we rank it?
We're not individually ranking anymore, is what I'm saying.
We're only ranking the committees.
The committees are the only.
You're only ranking parks.
So where could
But if something goes to DOT,
then it gets ranked, I guess, right after.
by that committee.
For that committee.
And no, so I guess to respect that, right now, moving forward, we have committee-led rankings, then I feel like that should have been last, unless it's already there. So you get what I'm saying? So if you already parked 1 through 5 and I got a bonus one, then that's number 6.
Well, I would leave it to the committee. The committee might say.
The hearing.
Yeah, but the committee might say, oh, that's a fantastic idea. We should make that number 2, whatever.
At the hearing.
You
Oh
know.
my God. All right.
You need
Okay.
to prepare this hearing.
Yeah.
Different.
Completely differently because everybody's thinking rankings and we submit, and that is obviously not the case. Also, can people pull together justifications not by the general, but by Thursday, at least for your top 3? Like if I would say if you have your number 1, number 2 for sanitation, can we get a justification?
What are you looking for? Like a sentence or two, or
Yeah,
I think a sentence.
then probably,
This is an Excel sheet also, and let's keep it at a sentence.
yeah,
Can I use an example?
yeah.
Couch for, oh, are people clear about this? 'Cause now
No,
I'm
let's
thinking
have
about-
an example.
I
this
had-
time.
let's, oh, you had a question? Go ahead. Alexis, go ahead. Go ahead.
So
Question.
it's really for our committee too, so
Of
Steve, I'm
course.
gonna ask you.
you're
Your
gonna put
opinion.
me on the spot.
Yes. My favorite thing to do. Now, all kidding aside, so when we were talking about DCLA, right, that's really not in Parks budget, right?
No, it's a separate agency.
Right, so what I'm saying, so what I wanna ask you about, so. Let's say we have stuff from the Hispanic Society.
Right.
That capital money, that's DCLA?
Yeah, I would put it there.
Yeah. That's what I thought, that's what I was saying the other day. And now, here we go. So, for Morris Jamel Mansion, which is a private nonprofit institution located in a public park, the park, whatever is needed in the park goes to the park, gets ranked through parks, right? By parks,
Well,
but
Marshall
let me
Mansion
finish.
is owned by the Parks Department.
Mhm.
So anything you wish to allocate to the mansion should be on your parks list.
Okay,
thing with the
so
farmhouse.
even though it is also considered a private even though it has its own private nonprofit
The
status.
building is owned by the Parks
Gotcha.
Department.
Okay,
The Parks Department would be responsible and for any capital project. So it belongs on the parks list.
Thank you for
That's-
that.
yeah.
We just getting clarity. Can I use an example to clarify? So everybody knows that I've been trying to get onto Dykeman Fields, a rehabilitation initiative to make that rink that is abandoned, either a roller skating rink for the summer or something else in the winter, but ultimately my proposal is a roller skating rink. My explanation can be, this is a new business, so even through concession like LeFrac in Brooklyn, we can make this happen via concession, and then that goes to business development.
No.
No, it stays on park.
Or
So-
even if the proposal is that there might be a concession that can be
Well, the park-
given to a concession.
Yeah, because the Parks Department has a very that deals with concessions all the time.
Got it, got it.
The Hudson Restaurant is a concession.
Fantastic.
I mean,
What I would also.
The explanation is that it brings new revenue to the neighborhood.
And it's an abandoned.
Exactly, and it's abandoned anyway. Anyway, just an example, a think aloud example. I'm putting my teacher hat on.
revenue, to be clear, the revenue goes to the city.
All of it?
Yes.
So the Hudson gives all their money to the city?
Well,
Pay a concession.
they pay a fee.
That's what I mean.
They pay a fee. They, I don't know, let's say 10% of their gross profit or whatever.
Okay.
There is a fee and but whatever money that is, it goes into the city general fund.
Got it.
Anthony, and I think we wrap up.
I'm clear now and I'm so excited. This is the best news I've got.
I mean,
I've
but
received.
what you have to look at is the jurisdiction of the property in question. Which agency is in charge of managing the property? And so in this case, it's in Woodhill Park, it's the Parks Department. Morris Jamel Mansion, it's the Parks Department property. So you have to consider not, whether it's a business development scheme or whatever, who owns the property, which agency is in charge of the property.
Okay.
So the only thing I want to say is because we have less than about a week to pull this all together. I think that the way these two columns should be done by each committee is the request just needs to say exactly what it is. So I'm just gonna use an example from last year. Improve accessibility of the following subway stops and list them out. Explanation needs to say because committee has identified a need from the community where inaccessibility has made it hard or impossible
Safety.
for folks. It just needs to be
Yeah.
one sentence that says because blank. So I would just imagine request first half of the sentence, explanation is because second half of the sentence.
Yeah.
I think that that's how we just have to accomplish this.
All right, let me write that.
And then we have to be done by Friday or by Thursday.
Well, the requests need to be done.
So- Yeah,
This
this
week,
week,
Thursday or
but as
Friday.
you have them, not on here, I'm gonna send the email tonight and just so everybody has this. And then work with Ebenezer and Paola on this. I think one thing to note is that because of the timing is that, I'm gonna send it tonight. Excuse me, allowing for some edits just to be made in-house, so like things like that you ask, like if Ebenezer knows that's not that appropriate committee, that it should just, he'll automatically move it, so we have a clean list on Tuesday. Right, and you know, if obviously folks feel like it should be ranked higher, then we deal with that on Tuesday. Capiche? Are we okay?
So we'll submit our, I mean, I've only heard about a quarter of what was said, but are we gonna submit them just like they are on here
Yes,
for now?
yes.
We're not gonna change anything?
No,
Okay.
we're out, we're,
I mean, we
office
fine-tuned our
and me and everyone, we'll deal with it,
Okay.
Okay, let me stop my share. One other thing that's really urgent, that is a reso for Wayne, who's been really patient, coming next week, not tonight, sorry. And housing has some edits, is around Charter Review Commission ballots, sorry, the Charter Review Commission proposals that are on the ballot, which is numbers 2, 3, and 4, on election day.
Yeah.
Do you wanna go for it, Wayne, or?
Well,
I'm gonna.
the land use committee, passed the reso, so there's nothing for the executive committee to discuss. The question that we had, we expressed concern with 3 of the ballot proposals, but that resolution does not take a position on that. And, the question was whether it is in fact appropriate for community boards to take positions on ballot proposals. Interestingly, at tonight's conflict of interest training, Alex Rick pointed out that that's not something that's under the jurisdiction of the Conflicts of Interest Board. It's a question for the law department. But I mean, and Catherine, you have a copy of the draft reso, and I don't know if you had a chance when you had the meeting with Carmen to discuss it. That reso doesn't say, vote yes or vote no on these ballot proposals. It indicates, what some of the concern or controversy is, and it's, says clearly Community Board 12 supports anything that's going to further the development of affordable housing. However, there are some, process or unintended impact concerns that are expressed in the resolution.
So Wayne, I do have the official response that CB, what number? One of the Manhattan CBs got from the law department, which is precisely that. And I think actually, I'm gonna forward this to you, Anthony. I think let's back pocket this for our policy. This isn't in the elected officers' policies and procedures, but for the board's handbook. Is that because it's gonna come up all the time. So you're right, Wayne. It is the opinion, and I'll just read it as brief as I can. It is the opinion of this office that it is lawful and appropriate for a community board or community board committee to inform and educate the public in a neutral fashion about Charter Revision Commission proposals. This includes analyzing arguments for and or against changes and informing the public about the anticipated consequences of the changes, including sharing any materials, or paraphrasing in a neutral manner. However, it is unlawful and inappropriate for a board to take a position for or against a Charter Revision Commission proposal. Okay.
Yeah, and as I stated, that is, in our committee discussion, that's something that we were mindful of, and that our resolution does not take a position on it. And we also noticed that in Manhattan Community Board 1 issued a resolution, I believe in June, on the preliminary report. And, they break down their concerns with, components of it, but they don't say at the end of it, vote yes or vote no on the ballot proposals. They, support or don't support, certain things that are being proposed.
And then to add to that, in public session, folks can in their, how we always do in your own capacity, speak to it. The other thing too, city council, I want to say it's a land use planner. They've been reaching out to the boards. They did email me about, they're going around doing presentations about it. I'm gonna have an obvious conversation, but I have heard back that and Carmen also told me on Friday that they've been very clear about they need to toe that line. So, just like the council is, anybody else who is pro or for or whatever can come during public session.
And,
So,
and if I could just add, Catherine, part of the problem is, and I think it might have been Indiana who mentioned it when we were discussing it in land use, the timing of it is problematic. Because, we're talking about this in October, the vote is a couple weeks off, and I, participated via Zoom in the Furman Center discussion of this last week, which was very informative. But something like that would have been more helpful to community boards 2 months ago. And interestingly, even at that discussion, the city council did not have anyone representing their perspective, although in the media, the written media, the city council has expressed concerns with it. But there was only, one panelist who was addressing, potential adverse impacts, and everyone else there was, sort of a champion or an advocate for the proposals. But even so, it was a complete enough discussion that you begin to get some of the nuances and understand why the folks who mentioned that the ballot proposals oversimplify when it's presented to us, what are some of the impacts. You understand why they say it, it may not be as clear in what is presented to the public, and having the ability to participate in these discussions, you get a greater sense of what is proposed and how it could potentially impact things.
Jim?
I want to second, you can hear me. I want to second what Wayne is saying. So it's good that our committee basically anticipated the ruling correctly based upon what Board One in its due diligence chose to do. The sad thing, however, is early voting will begin before our resolution becomes public, which is unfortunate, which is something Wayne was alluding to.
Yeah, great point. So that's that coming. I'm gonna talk to the council folks. So far, that's the only people I've heard that want to speak. But I think, next month, but really it's something for next year, is that, and that was part of the meeting that we had, is thinking future forward. So if this does change, how do we as a board adapt to that reality where, we take months, like 5 months, 6 months sometimes, right? Waiting for ULURP. Sometimes they're faster, but generally it's a longer process. So to then have if it does pass and it's a 60-day window, what are mechanisms or things that we can implement between the office and us to do things? Yeah.
I don't know why you're saying it takes us 5 or 6 months. Anything in a ULURP process is restricted by a time clock. We only get 60 days to act on any ULURP items. We can't take 5 or 6 months.
But to clarify, and to your point, Catherine, I think, what would happen, Steve, as was discussed, right now, a ULURP comes to the community board first, we have 60 days, then it goes to the borough president, they have 30 days. And these, it goes to one, then the other. The proposal in some cases is to consolidate it so that the borough president's 30 days begins at the same time, our 60 days. So it's condensed. And so you're cutting 30 days out of the process. That can be problematic because, in my experience, the borough presidents that we've had have been very good about first waiting to see what position the community board takes and what concerns we have, and folding that into what they do. So to Catherine's point, that would mean we would need to coordinate much more closely, with the borough president office, up front. And by the time the 60-day period is over, our concerns have been meshed with their concerns and vice versa, because we don't have the ability to say, okay, we finished our process and we're now handing it off to the borough president to do theirs and to incorporate any open items that we had, because any open items are now no longer in our control, the borough president's control.
Sorry, and just to clarify, I mean also the community engagement practices that sometimes happen like early on, even before or during the process. So like whenever there's like community forums and things like that, that obviously is gonna be really tight. You know, so those are things I know Indiana and I think housing and land use should kind of connect and talk about it in the future.
We intend to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let me just say, the other thing that folks have pointed out is many of the changes will remove the city council and community boards from decision-making process in certain instances and either give it to the Board of Standards and Appeals or to the City Planning Commission or to a new board. But what it is doing by default or by intent is it is concentrating decision-making in the mayor or under the mayor. And, you know, that is what a number of folks have expressed concern with. I mean, the intent may be fine, but it's like, who is making the decision becomes, you know, it's much more, and this is something that's also concerned at the federal level. You might have separate arms of government, but, you know, decision-making and power is being concentrated in one area more so. And it's already noted that, you know, there were things that used to be the authority of borough presidents that were moved to this public engagement commission, whatever it's called, that I don't know if we've met with them more than once. So it's constantly moving things away from community boards, from borough presidents, and now from the city council, and shifting it over to the mayor.
Accurate, I mean, thank you. I know the time is 8:40. So I think we, in lieu of talking about resolutions that we're gonna talk in a week, are there any like urgent asks? Or are there kind of any announcements that folks have? Or something you were hoping to discuss tonight that we didn't, that we can reserve time for?
I have one
Yeah.
question. So Wayne, whenever you had your land use committee meeting, you talked about the initiative, and I think Kathy, you referred to this earlier, where they were going to be maybe allocating planners, or maybe like Wayne, we had talked about prioritizing for the funding for us to get a planner assigned to CB 12. Is that something that we could do for housing? Like a similar idea, like maybe not a planner, but some sort of like study, like what we're thinking is, can we do like a study of, okay, right now, this year, like everything is so crunch time that we are not gonna be able to say, we want 100 of this kind of units. But thinking ahead, can we say, we want X, whatever, $100,000 for somebody to conduct this study of like throughout our district, where can we do this? The city of yes, components, like what buildings could qualify. Is that something that we could put?
Yeah, well, but I mean, that's kind of exactly what we talked about, but it's also, as pointed out, I think last year when we were floating the idea of the borough president's office, that's not something that we necessarily need to put in, the capital expense, priority request. We can simply go to our elected officials and say, we want to fund an updated planning study to look at A, B, and C. And the example is exactly what we did in sort of 2003, 2004. We got from a combination of the borough president, our city council, and Harlem Community Development Corporation funding to hire the City College Architecture Center to do, there was like a $96,000, $97,000, planning study. That study is now, was finished in 2007, so it's decades old. And the things that you've pointed out, as well as many other, planning issues and what are the impacts of from the city of yes, all need to be considered in an updated planning study. So we can go to Carmen and Sean and our new borough president and say, this is the scope of work we want to look at and we need funding. Or as we discussed, we might put together the scope of work, have some conversations with potential planners to get a sense of the budget, and then go to them and say, this is what we want to do. This is what it's going to cost, and just, go to them for their discretionary funds as opposed to having them ranked by an agency.
I think what you were also talking about, and I don't know if it's 5 or 6. I gotta double check. But one of them and two of the Manhattan boards, I don't know if they keep them on like full time. They have contracted like their own land use consultants, if you will. Sometimes for like either study or like just short-term projects. I can find out like
Yeah, well, let's look at
what
our,
that is and what that rate is. That is
we might,
something.
yeah, we might have money in our own
Right.
budget.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like we might have money in our own budget and with like the council allocations that we got.
Yeah, I mean.
But I mean, just be mindful that there's a difference between hiring someone to look at a scenario and say, what would this look at? But for example, the 197A plan that CB9 did cost, if I'm not mistaken, over $200,000. So it depends on what kind of initiative that we're looking at, but we certainly can get from even one of the city council reps, or certainly about 2 of the council reps and the borough president, $100,000 to allocate to, you know, an updated planning study. And we would determine, you know, what are the areas that need priority focus. So, in the end, as you've mentioned, you know, if there's certain housing issues, you know, we had a housing section, you know, last time, and, you know, we could be more specific on, you know, for this go round, what is it we need the planning professionals to look at and answer questions on?
Again, just as a quick follow-up, would we need to pull that proposal together along the same timeline as the city budget votes? Or like, we would need to approach them like in January, right? Once they really start negotiating?
I don't think so. I mean, we have the ability, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, we have the ability to ask our elected officials for, you know, for money, you know, whenever.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I wouldn't wait to past April. If you're gonna ask for a substantial amount of money, I would do it before.
Right.
April.
But I mean, it doesn't have to be done as part of this capital and expense cycle.
No, but it also wouldn't be the worst.
It wouldn't hurt.
It wouldn't hurt. Wouldn't hurt. And in Indiana, I wouldn't necessarily say that you need to mention a dollar figure. I think it would be enough just to raise the point and say that you would like funding to do the study on XYZ.
Yeah, but let me find out which, like if it was a short term or I feel like I've heard one board always have somebody. So I don't know if it's just like somebody they have like almost on retainer or like advice, or if it's something different.
I think
So the question is that city money that allows them to do that, or is it private money?
Something to ask, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think Community Board 1 once had a planner. I don't know if they still.
No, I think it's one and somebody else also.
Could be one, okay.
Yeah. All right, anybody else has asked?
I got like 3 quick things.
Okay, go.
Number one, first of all, I want to announce that the 24 psych beds are now open at the
Yeah.
Allen Hospital. Right. The hospital is telling me that they spent $40 million in order to redo the psych ward and to reconfigure it and to put in private rooms and make it a state of the art. But there are now 24 beds where there used to be 30. And they are now proceeding to renovate the psych ward over here at the Milstein building. And they're gonna expand that ward from 24 to 28 beds. So in the end, we're gonna end up with a net loss of 2 beds between the 2 locations. And so Milstein, I think, may now be in renovation, under renovation. And many of those patients probably were transferred up to Allen now that the Allen is open. But our long battle to see the psych beds that reopened at Allen has finally resulted in
Good work,
success.
Steve, your committee.
Thank you. Number 2, at our last meeting, last week, we had a presentation from a group called Start Care, which runs a opioid treatment program over on Amsterdam Avenue and 180th Street. They are applying for a state grant in order to expand their services, mental health, and to provide these services to a broader band of substance abusers. All they need from us is a letter confirming that they made the presentation. They don't need a letter of support, but they need something to accompany their application that confirms that they informed the community board. So, I can, should I sign that letter? Should you sign it?
It's coming on you.
I'll sign it in the,
So I'll.
and the YouTube link you can include too, cause.
Yeah,
on YouTube.
yeah, we told her about the YouTube link, but they need a letter. So I'll draft something and I'll forward it to you. Okay, the last thing I want to mention is that you may not have known this, because I don't know that it ever got any publicity from our board. But I mean, I had asked the board to send out this flyer on 2 occasions. I don't know that it ever did, but we co-sponsored, I sent this to you at some point. We co-sponsored an e-waste electronics collection at Inwood Hill Park last Saturday. I did post it all over Facebook. I was disappointed that I didn't see anything from the community board. But 145 people participated and they collected they collected 2,001 pounds of unwanted electronics equipment. So all in all, it was fairly successful. And I'm already discussing with the sponsoring organization, having them come back again next year.
Awesome.
But I don't understand why it wasn't sent out by the board.
I don't know if it was, I haven't caught up on the emails on like our events alert.
Well, that was a real, I don't,
That was at Inwood Hill Park,
yes.
but they didn't even bring it up in the meeting. Yeah,
Well, it wasn't a Parks Department event. It
oh, it was,
was not.
was not.
They were,
Yeah, I just wanted to comment that I concur with Kathy's decision that since all these people need is an acknowledgement, a letter from her would be fine, and it does not, like everything else, require a vote of the board. Thank you.
no, we're not taking a position on this, only.
Correct. It's just an acknowledgement, so it
Yeah.
doesn't really require a vote. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, this has been a very eventful meeting. Oh, well, I see William is still here. William, did you want to add something?
Yeah, I just remember at some point last month there was a comment, and I'm sorry, I probably should have just registered as Andre, so maybe that's probably what's throwing you guys off. But Andre Brimage is the name I normally go by. But that said, I believe last month there was I think even a motion on the floor to maybe something in regards to the Instagram, and I wanted to know or get an update on what
That's
we're
who
gonna be. Yeah, I remember someone said something about doing just at least posting the free events and what have you in the Instagram.
Yeah, I
That's
can answer to that. That has been put on pause because it may require consensus from the entire board. It may have to go through the Borough Manhattan President's office. So there was an entire discussion about it and the implications of someone like me handling an Instagram page and speaking on behalf of the board when the point person will always be our chair, Kathy Diaz.
Oh, I can tell you right now, the answer is no.
There you go. There you go. The answer.
No, and I'm not saying no, like we can't have an Instagram. I'm saying
Yeah.
there's a city policy in place already for agencies on social media, and we're part of that. So like the staff handle our Instagram account, own the Instagram account. I could talk for hours, I could talk for a minute about this, but in the minute, it's that the staff would handle it. And based on just the juggling priorities and some other outstanding issues with our actual account issues, that's why it hasn't been done. But not because we don't want it to be done. It's just about making sure that with social media, like once you start, you gotta be consistent. And it's challenging when we have a lot of turnover. And then there's also some operational issues on the board having social media accounts. So that gets cleared out. That's why it's been paused. But there is an answer for that. I don't know, sorry, I didn't know that was the context.
No, that makes perfect sense. I just know it was brought up, so I just wanted to see if it was a good idea, but I also understand both sides. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
All right, I think with that said, we can, I never called it the order, did I? So
Call it order.
I think we have.
we had quorum
At 7:05.
at 7:05, so it was called to order at 7:05. Thanks everybody for hanging out and Andre
Motion
for
to adjourn.
joining us. The motion to adjourn
Motion to adjourn.
and seconded. Good night, everybody.
Weird.
Night all.
Well, wait a minute, all in favor, all, let's vote on this.
Jim,